Hey guys, good morning. I'm still house sitting at my friend's place up in the mountains. So we're doing a fireside chat this morning. My last short video about my fairy encounter, if you want to call it that, got me thinking about the nature of reality and our relationship with reality. At least one person commented saying that fairies aren't real, which that's fine. I'm not going to argue you on that fact. That's sort of not my point here, I guess. I mean, the thing that I'm contemplating is whether or not something matters, whether or not it matters if something is real, if something genuinely exists, if there's actually little beings out in the forest doing the things, or not. Is that the point? Is that as important as what we believe those things do, or what we assign to those things, or how those things, whether or not they're literally real, affect us? And there are things that we choose in society that I would argue are not inherently real, and yet they absolutely affect our lives. Money, for example. Nature didn't come up with the American dollar. Nature didn't make capitalism. Nature gives everything away. Nature's just like, here's this fruit. As long as it's the right season, here's some fruit. And yet, this invisible concept, this idea, this thing that humans made up, it affects the entire world. The whole world runs on money. Money is power. Well, that's all made up. Somebody decided, well, not just one guy, but like along the lines of human history, it was decided that we were going to use money, currency, which is fine. I'm not, this isn't a discussion about whether or not that's right. This is a discussion about whether or not that's real. It's a concept. It's something that is meant to stand in for the barter system in many ways. I'm not an economist. I'm not going to get into money, so don't come at me in the comments about how I'm wrong about money. I use it. I know how it works enough. But I know it's not real. It's a concept that humans decided was helpful, and we decided to engage in it, and we've been using it ever since. But you're not going to find a dollar in nature. Just like there's no money tree. As much as we would like there to be a money tree, there's no money tree. That's a concept. That's a concept that has been created by humans. So, however, like my whole point, look at how it affects our lives. Religion. Well, you can argue, well, God isn't real. Okay, great. He's not real. Well, regardless of whether or not God is real, we have had many wars that were claimed to be fought because of this thing that humans may or may not have just made up. I guess what I'm getting at is the belief in magic and the belief in fairies and the belief in invisible forces outside of ourselves. Y'all believe in society, y'all believe in plenty of invisible forces outside of yourself that don't actually exist. Like the power of the president. That's made up. We just made that up. Nature didn't, like, give the president, like, the president's not born, and then nature is like, behold the president. You know what I'm saying? That's a concept. The entirety of government, these are all invisible concepts that didn't exist before, that we made up. We created them, and now they rule our lives. There's these rules, these social contracts that we created. We created human beings. We created them. We may have created them generations ago. We created ways that we have to be, the right way to act, what our rules are for living and existing. And people make that shit up all the time. That's not real. It's made up. But does it affect our lives? Yeah, it sure does. Our invisible beliefs in things that don't actually physically exist, except that we decide they do, that basically explains the entirety of human, modern life. That's the structure of our governing. That's the structure of our lives anymore. So my argument is that it doesn't matter if fairies are real. It doesn't matter if Bigfoot's real. It doesn't matter if God is real. What matters is how that affects your existence and how you navigate life with those beliefs. So for me, fairies, all right, they may or may not exist. I'm not going to argue that. But I find that my life is more fun, more expansive, more creative, more interesting, more loving, more compassionate, more connected when I believe that other things outside of myself have spirit and have an effect. And you can get wrapped up in delusion, of course. That's always a thing that people like to do, is they like to get real wrapped up in their ideas of how things are and what's real and what's not real. But guess what, you guys? Y'all are doing it, whether you are doing it about fairies or if you're doing it about how we all need to go to college. Or we all need to get a day job, work 9 to 5 in an office, or that, we need to get a career, that stuff those are ideas that don't exist in nature. Those are ideas that humans have created, that we live by, we choose to live by them. And so what if we decided, and many of us do, many of us, in fact, I would argue that a lot of our ancestors, most of our ancestors, if you go back far enough, probably all of our ancestors, they believed in the life of nature. They believed in the life of the forest. They believed that there was a spirit, many spirits in there, the same way that we have a spirit. It seemed obvious that if we have a spirit, that everything must have a spirit. And that's how we communicate with the outside world, outside of us as individual humans. And so ideas have been created so that we can communicate outside of us as a species. And a lot of us are not communicating outside of ourselves as a species, as individuals even. And so my argument is that whether or not you want to believe in fairies, I don't care. My idea, my invitation, I don't want to argue. Arguing is aggressive. My invitation is to consider, what beliefs do you have that serve you and which ones don't? And if your belief in fairies makes you a delusional crazy person, and it makes you live your life in a way that you are having a bad time, then maybe examine your belief in fairies. If believing in fairies, or whatever, God, synchronicity, magic, if believing in those things gives you a sense of connectivity to the rest of the world that allows you to navigate in a way that is more beautiful, more compassionate, and ultimately brings you more enjoyment and satisfaction out of your life, then believe in fairies, okay? Do it. Believe in that. We need more magic. It's out there, you guys. The magic is in the forest. It's not even anti-science. Science is magic. There's magic out there. There's magic everywhere. But you can find it real easy in the forest. Because it still exists in there. Because they don't have, well, some forests do, but you know, the trees don't give a shit what the scientists say about whether or not they're conscious. The trees are out there exuding their tree wisdom. And you can learn how to speak that. You can learn how to speak that even if you're an atheist and you don't believe in anything. Supernatural. It's not supernatural. It is natural. And fairies, spirits of the earth, whatever, you connect with those guys. Well, be careful with fairies. I'm not trying to tell you guys to go talk to fairies. Because from what I hear, I mean, I do it all the time and I'm fine. But I've been doing this my whole life. So I don't claim that if you talk to fairies that you're going to have a good time. I hear that plenty of people don't have a good time with fairies. So don't don't engage in spooky stuff on my account. But what I am saying is that connecting with something outside of yourself is entirely human. It's healthy. And it's not delusional. It's only delusional if you make your life based off of delusions, I guess. But ever since I started leaning into believing in the magic that I was always seeing around and being like, wait a second, this is magic. There's something going on that I don't understand. Something beyond my personal experience. Something beyond what science even is. I mean, and they're catching up too with quantum physics and all that. I don't know. It's all made up. All this stuff is made up. Even we made up the word tree to name a tree. Like, the word tree is not a tree. A tree is a tree. You know, that old French guy with the pipe and this is not a pipe, but it's a picture, you know? Like, it's like that. Wait, no, that's me. Ne pas une pipe. Is that how? I don't know. I can't remember. So if your belief in fairies and Sasquatch and God improves your life and the life of those around you, and improves the life of the collective because it makes you feel more connected and creative, well, believe in fairies, okay? Just do it. Just believe in them. It's fine. Look at me. All right, maybe don't look at me. Unless you want to be me. I mean, I'm enjoying myself. I'm in my cool hat. I look like a fairy. I got my crocheted forest cloak. Got my coffee. I'm having a good time. My life was trash. I was having a hard time until I decided, you know what? You know what I've always believed in? Magic. I'm just gonna roll with that. And when I started doing that, everything started falling together. Everything. It wasn't easy. I still had work to do. I still have work to do. But it's made it worth it. I've become motivated. Things have become exciting again. That's what we need. We need more magic in this world. We used to have magic all over the place, and then, you know, these reasonable people came in and they're like, well, actually, it's systems and stuff. And it's like, well, yeah, how do you think magic works? It's gotta work. It's not just like, it's not supernatural. Of course it needs systems. Of course it requires a mechanism to work. The way the tree is not magic. It's science too. But that's the thing, is science is magic. It's just explaining the mechanism of the magic of life. And life is fucking magical. Go outside. Go outside and talk to a tree. Walk through the forest. And you'll see. You'll find out. Maybe you'll meet a fairy. If you do, be careful. They can be tricksy. Okay, that's all I wanted to share with you guys. I hope you enjoyed this silly video. I'm gonna go back to sitting around, believing in fairies, being magical.